Alright, so here's the area that you want stairs, and it really is kind of a pain walking up and down there. So we're gonna start here. We've got two assembled 8-foot sections, and then we're going to figure out, the first step is to figure out what's level, how steep we want them. And this is a little tricky to walk up and down.
Let's see. Gotta get how far down are we? You have two landings?
I do have two landers, but we don't have to use them both.
Looks like we need to adjust it to be
We need to adjust this to be quite a bit less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good morning, guys. I'm Luke, and I'm here with Rowing Barge, and we're gonna install some stairs on this hillside right here. So our parts came on a pallet, and they didn't take up very much space at all, and we followed the instructions to assemble them like this. It was pretty simple. Now, the only part that will be different depending on your installation is which holes you use here. If you look, these uprights have a whole bunch of different holes, and we temporarily at the shop put them all in the bottom hole here, which sets the stairs to be at the steepest setting. But now, after looking at a hillside, we can determine which hole those should all be in order to get our stairs so that they're level. So let's take a look at it right now. It's nice and light. I can carry it right down here and set it on the hill. Okay, so this hillside is not all that steep. You can see these are my treads right here, and they're angled back a lot. So I need to flatten them out and make them a lot less steep. So I just need these 6 bolts to loosen the nuts and adjust them, but I'm probably just gonna do that right up here. So what I'm gonna do is take out the upper and lower bolts that set the stair angle, and then when we carry it down to the hill, we'll adjust it, setting the middle ones for now till we get it to the angle that we decide is good, and then we'll put the top ones back in. Now it'll still hold itself together well enough that I can carry it down here and set it in place. Okay. Now with the middle ones, I'm going to loosen them up and pick a higher hole. So now I've set this side to the least steep setting, and I'm going to do the same on this side. And then, however close you can get it, you just need to do the last adjustment by setting the post, which we'll do next. So that's the middle one. That got us pretty close. The top will probably come up a little bit. That it'll need to anyways. So right about there is going to look good. So now I'm going to go ahead and add these bolts back to the top and bottom, and we'll be set. Okay, so I've put the bolt in the highest hole on our settings here, which sets the stairs at the least steep angle, and that's what matched our hillside up to this point. And the kind of cool thing is, the hillside kind of slopes out a little bit here, so we could actually set the next stair to be a slightly different angle if we need to. They don't have to match the whole way. We're probably going to try to match it on this example. But if your hillside went up and down quite a bit, you could do a steep section and then a slightly less steep, and so on. So that's our first step. Now I think we're going to set this one to match that one and carry it down, and then we'll be able to connect them and go from there. All right, we got the angle set, and now we're going to bring this down here and get it close. So looking at this here, we're going to want to move something like this. So the front's going to be up a bit like that, and the bottom we probably want it down a little bit. So we might want to dig this edge out a little bit, I think. But also this can move over. You know.
So are we still going to make room for the landing there then?
So, but see, we're turning, so we have to figure out how this side will have to be over here, which I think is weird. So if this says stay here.
Oh, I see. Yeah, well, this is not designed to be able to be turned.
Well, we wouldn't turn. That'd be weird anyway. So I think it'd be just like we need to dig out this a little bit.
All right, so we're gonna.
Or see, if we go over that. you go something like that. Something like that. I just think we gotta get rid of that edge a little bit.
All right.
Because that's closer to straight, and this is gonna come up like this.
I just bring a pickaxe too. So you want to knock that edge away?
But the middle there needs to go down then as much as the front, because we're about level now. Right.
I see.
That middle needs to go down. So it definitely is less steep here than.
Right. Oh wow. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess let's move this. But I think these angles are probably right. So at the very bottom of this staircase, we're gonna have a landing that comes out to the concrete here. And this is just one of the parts you can buy with your kit. And these replace the last stair tread. So this will go right in there, I'll take that tread out. And this one's gonna come right over here. And then when we get the level of the stairs set nicely, your last step will be right down to the concrete. All right, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Now those are replaced. I don't think it would hurt if it was right on the concrete and it went over it a little bit.
Oh.
So let's just wait and see. I'm gonna swap these top two stair tread brackets with these extra long ones, and we call these the landing. So these will go on here, and then our treads are gonna span across these, and we'll have a nice landing at the end. So let me swap these out. Which side does this go on? Doesn't really matter. It just
Nope, it doesn't matter. Just put the other one on the same side you put this one.
It looks like it might end up being something like this. But I guess I'll tighten it on and put a level on it. Let's see. All right, so we have the staircase set on the hill where we want, and we have the angle of the stair tread set to the closest to match our hill. And we've also added a landing attachment to the front and to the top and the bottom. And now we're ready to go through and tighten all the bolts. The only bolts I won't tighten are the two that connected the upper section of stairs to the lower section. I'll leave those loose so they can still pivot slightly till we get it right where we want. I'm using an impact driver that has a 3/8 adapter for my 9/16 deep well socket here, but you could also use a regular 1/4-inch hex impact driver and just get an adapter for your sockets. That's a little more common. A lot of people have at least a 1/4-inch driver, and these make things go really quickly. A lot of these drills will have different settings for how much power they will put out. And so you might want to use one of the lower settings. The 1/4-inch impact drivers usually have 3 settings, and the middle one, 2, is usually good. This one just has a 1 and 2, and we found 1 to work pretty well. But you might want to test that out yourself, see how tight when you get it, and compare with a good wrench and get a feel for how tight it's going. Because if you over torque these, the aluminum bolts will snap, so you have to be careful. All right, let's do it. I thought it'd be worth mentioning, if you're using treated boards, the copper in the treating will react with the aluminum. So to keep that from happening, all you need to do is paint the surface of the aluminum that's going to be in contact with the treated boards. We did the rest of the steps back at the shop, but we forgot to do these landing treads. So I'm just going to paint this paint on here right now. All right, beautiful. Our next step here is to put the posts in the ground that are going to support the staircase. And they're held on with these U-bolts. And the U-bolts go on your second to last step. This is sort of the last step in our example. There's the second step here, and there's 2 holes drilled for you that the U-bolt slides into. And then the post is going to slide down right here. But before you put them on, your kit will come with this we call it goop, but it's an anti-seize compound that also helps a stainless steel bolts not react with the aluminum nuts that are paired with it. So we put that on both sides of the threads here, and then we'll stick it through the hole. And I'm gonna go ahead and just put the little nuts on loose so this is hanging out there, and I'm gonna put the next ones on all the way down and up on both sides, and then we'll start driving some posts in. All right, well. So we're gonna put the first one in right here. I've already put this one in, but I'm gonna put one on this side as well. And they go on this is the top step, they go on the second step down, and there's 2 holes in the actual stair tread that they slide into from the outside. Now, the next 2 are gonna go right here, the second to last step, so that would be this step right here. And then there'll be 2 more there and 2 at the very bottom. So when you're deciding where to put your posts in the ground, you do have a little bit of flexibility. Generally, you would put them on the second to last tread from the bottom of a stair run. But if there's something in your way, like in my case, I have a root here, I don't want to have to cut out of the way, I could lower and put it at the very end one, or I even could put it one up from there. But if you don't do them at the second to last, then that side can't be the side that has your handrail, because the handrail needs to have that spacing to fit properly. So we're gonna have our handrail on this side right here. So this one, I don't have to put out the second to last step. I can put it one lower, and that's what I'm gonna do for this side. Now that we have the U-bolt in, we can slide our post down through and make sure that it's landing on the hill where we want it to. I'm gonna lift this just slightly, make sure, because that's gonna move me back. So it's gonna be right about there. Now I can go ahead, I'm gonna look down here, make sure that looks straight. And my post looks pretty level. So this looks pretty good. I think this is where we want the post. So I'm gonna drive it into the ground right here. Doesn't have to be perfectly plumb, but if you can just look at it and make sure you're really close, then it's gonna work out fine. All right. This side, these posts are going to be used to support our handrail, so it's more important that these are nice and plumb. So I got a cheesy little level here. I would suggest at least a 2-foot level, but this one will work fine. So I'm going to make sure it's plumb, and then I'm going to drive it in. And as I drive it in, I'll probably check a couple times and make sure that it stays going straight. So now I drove these posts in about as far as they'll go. If they would have gone farther on the left side, since there's no handrail, I could have driven them all the way down if they go. But I hit a rock here and there, and we'll just end up cutting these off at this side. This side, we're gonna take our handrail posts and slide over. So these, we wanna only hammer them in until we have about this much if we can. There we go. So this will go over like this.
Exactly.
So now it's time I can actually tighten these U-bolts. Because I took this level here, checked on a few treads, made sure it's level this direction, and I put something, since my level's not quite long enough, I stuck this across here and got this direction level at the top and bottom. So now I can go and tighten these U-bolts, and then I'll be ready to do the next set of stairs right down there. We just twisted them. We ended up just drilling a hole and sticking a rod we had through. So we had a handle. We twisted it. As soon as we twisted it, it made a circle way bigger, and then we could slide them right out. It's kind of cool. The round ones can't do that because they'll get bigger when they turn. That's pretty good. block just right there. You have a tape measure?
Yep. I can go get it. Let me go get it.
It's perfect right now.
Alright, now we're gonna drive the last post.
That's it.
Perfect.
Okay. I guess there's some stairs. Just no treads.
Alright.
I wonder what they look pretty good. That's the biggest test. Isn't if it is level, it's if it looks level. Because it could be level and not look level, and that's actually worse. Pretty good. Not bad. All right.
Hey guys, this is Phil here. I gotta interject. I gotta tell you that when Luke and I went and originally installed these stairs, the handrail just didn't feel strong enough. It's supposed to meet 200 pounds and it just wasn't quite there. So the problem was the 1¼ eighth wall tube that was driven into the ground. We had a 1½ inch post coming over the top, but it only came down to the top of the rail. What we've done now, Cole and I go back there with longer 1½ posts. They run down over the entire top of the 1¼ down past both rails. So you could see that we're now doubling up on the strength there. And this is a much better system. So bear with me, sorry for the trouble, but now Cole and I are gonna come back. I strongly recommend you do this before you put the decking on. You'll see that Cole and I had to remove decking in order to make this happen. Sorry for the trouble, let's get back to it. All right, so I just want to talk quickly about how this post is held up. So now if you look at this, we've got an 1½ square post that fits over the 1¼ post. And you see down here how it fits over. And then you see that the U-bolt goes around the entire 1½ post and holds that in. Now that post is standing up, and we could see, if you look at the next one up, you'll see how tall the 1¼ post is. So it reaches up inside, and the two of them combine together. And you'll see that we have some screws. There's 3 screws holding the 1½ post to the 1¼ and that gives us it actually yields at 280 pounds. So it gives us the 200-pound handrail that we want. So let's go ahead and we're gonna watch Cole put the next one together for us. All right, so step 1, Cole is gonna take the 1½ tube. Notice that the 3 small holes are facing inward. And now notice what he's gonna do with this. He's gonna pull that back a little bit and he's gonna slide it down. And that goes all the way down. And we want that bottom hole to be about 1 inch above the rail there. And that'll give us a 35-inch tall handrail. So you could adjust the handrail slightly depending on what angle you're at. You'll see at this angle, these are only 25-degree stairs, so there's quite a bit of that post sitting down below, so you could make the handrails taller. The book says 34 to 38, so these will put you at 35 inches. Now, Cole is going to put some goop on the very, very important, this is a stainless steel U-bolt, and we're gonna use aluminum nuts. So in order to keep those nuts from having a galvanic reaction there, we need to do that. We need to put that goop on. So now he's gonna slide that through there. You should be able to see pretty clearly here. He's got that through there, all right. Now he's gonna tighten that up. So the next step will be to tighten this. Now we don't wanna torque this too much. We wanna just pull this so that it's solid. And we'll watch Cole do that and we'll see how much that it looks as though it takes there. So we want to do it evenly. Don't do one side all the way. Kind of get it so they're both closed, and then go back and forth. Perfect. So how does that feel? Go one more maybe there. All right. So that's step one. We got that in there. But now the next step is we have to put the screws. So we're going to do that in a sec. Cole is going to start here by putting the goop on these. These are stainless steel self-drilling, self-tapping screws. And he's going to go ahead and he's going to goop those up so that they, again, the galvanic reaction is avoided. And now he's going to go ahead and going to drill that together. That is going to tie the 1.5-inch post to the 1.25-inch post and give you the full 200-pound that we rate this handrail at. So notice how he was careful not to strip that out. So that should go pretty quickly, but don't go so quickly that they strip right out. All right, looking great.
To keep the post from sinking into the ground over time, what we have is a little foot that goes on the bottom, and it just goes around the post with a U-bolt like so. So I got an area prepped right here where it's gonna go in. I'll slip the U-bolt on, and I'll press that down tight to the ground and tighten the U-bolt up there. Then, if this ever starts to sink into the ground a little bit and the stairs aren't level anymore, then you could just loosen this U-bolt up here and slide the stairs up on the rail or on the post here. So leaving yourself a bit extra is always nice. And then over time, if the hillside changes, if you get a lot of rain and things settle, you can always adjust it. You don't have to go re-pour footings and set new posts, anything like that. So pretty nice. There we go. So when it's time to put your treads on, what you'll want to check is putting a step in where these angles come by and sliding it to the back and seeing how far back you can slide it. And that will actually change depending on what angle you set the stairs to. So the way we're set right now, I can slide the board back till it almost hits that angle at the front here. But if I wanted to, I can always slide them forward. That's up to you. You could have them hang off a little on the front. But whatever you choose, you just want all the steps to match. All right, so we decided we're gonna have the landing end right about even with the concrete here. So your first step is right in front of this beam here, so you don't hit your head or anything. But the aluminum rails came this full length here. So we're gonna cut them down to be 3 steps worth. And we can use just a regular saw because aluminum is so soft that you don't have to get any special blade. All right, so let's do it. It is a little noisy.
Yeah, it's really noisy. So I'm gonna stand back and I'm gonna turn the. Maybe I should do it.
So this side of the stairs here, the handrail post will slide over those posts and there'll be a handrail to go up. This side, these will be cut off a little bit above the treads and we have little caps that slide over. So this one's marked, I'm gonna cut it off now. So now that I've cut this off, you can put one of the little black caps that's included. Slides over nicely so there's no sharp edges. And I can cut the rest of them off on that side.
Perfect. So the boards are cut so there should fit in there, but this particular board is a little tight. So maybe I can. Yeah.
All right, now we're ready to actually screw our treated tread boards on. These are 2x10s, cut to 3 feet long. We actually went just a little under so that they fit easily. And we're gonna fasten them with these 410 stainless self-tapping screws. Now the stainless and the aluminum can react with each other. So you put this anti-galvanic compound on the tip of each screw before you put them in, and that will keep the aluminum from corroding. If you leave that off, depending on your environment, after a few years, the aluminum, where this goes into the aluminum, can corrode and then the screws might pull out. So you want to make sure you always put this on all your screws before you put them in. All right. So the first one here, slide this way to start.
Oops. Do you want me to hold that in for you?
What I need to do is get,
I'm taking both.
all right, that's it.
All right, so our next step here is to install the handrail. Handrail is a 1-inch square 1/8 wall tube here, rounded corner tube. So you'll see that the bolt comes in from the inside, all right, and then that's gonna drop through the hole. Now you may have to adjust slightly if your posts aren't perfectly parallel. Just, you see how it wasn't too big a deal there. Now, very important, on the back of that side, you're gonna put a bushing in, and we'll watch Cole put that bushing in through the hole there. That's gonna go through the hole, and now the nut is gonna go right over the top. The nut actually presses against the bushing, holding the handrail, pinning the handrail to the inside of the post. All right, we're gonna do the bottom now. Same idea. Last step is we've got these cute little caps that will go over the end. Now, I think we're gonna try to find you some glue to hold those in place so the kids don't take them off and steal them. But anyways, and you see we put a cap down at the bottom. And now Cole, put a little pressure on that handrail in the middle for me, please. Cole's 210 pounds. Oh, nice. Here we go. Good work, Cole. Ready.
All right, so that's it. We finished the stairs. We screwed all the deck boards on, got the handrail mounted, and let's see what time it is. We got here around 9, I believe, and it's 1 o'clock. So 2 guys. I did most of the work, and it looks pretty good.